Okay. Another fun day of Mega Camp in the books. Tell me what's on your mind, you guys. I could talk to you about how I've been inspired for weeks. So let's hear from you guys. What are you learning? What are you having fun doing? What's the one thing you're going to adopt in your business to take it to the next level? Talk to me.
I have kind of like, I was thinking last night, like just like an overall like view of everything. And I know like everybody that I've heard speak, they all have their own, little like ways they put on the things that they're learning and like the stuff that they've been trained to do. But if like you look at like the bottom line on everybody, it's all the same. Everybody's following the system. Everybody's following the book. And so, but they put their own individuality on the things they're doing, but nobody's like, oh yeah, I didn't do anything, that the book said I did this and I'm super successful. Like I haven't heard that.
Well, keep in mind, it is, they're I don't want to say this the wrong way, but those people, even if they were wildly successful, they're not going to be put on stage. Right? Right. I mean, there was a time, maybe I think Gary started doing this like 2 years ago, where I think he started getting frustrated with agents that were putting up like super high production numbers, but that weren't running a profitable business at all. So I don't know if you guys heard, there was I think it was the first day, a guy named Haro Satan. He's a mega agent out of South Carolina. He's really good friends with Andy. Did you guys hear that he sold like, I think it was like 90 something million dollars worth of real estate and lost $50,000? Did y'all hear that? So like, they give awards for gross and units and all this stuff, but you can't pay your bills with gross. You pay your bills with net. You can't pay your bills with the number of homes you sold. You do it with the profit that you earn from growing and running this business of yours, right? And so Gary is really big on a book called Profit First, and Haro and Jeannie talked about this 2 days ago. This is a great session about.
I'll be on later.
About running a profitable business, right? The people that Gary doesn't.
I'll let you know what she said about the house call.
Who is that? Gary doesn't let anybody on stage anymore unless he sees their P&L first. What do you think about that? He says, you want to teach people in my organization, I need to make sure you're running a profitable business first.
I mean, I think the numbers don't lie. And
100%. I posted something yesterday in the WhatsApp group on models. Did you guys see that?
I did not.
So, oh, and by the way, I also posted yesterday we were talking about that document that was like what I'm grateful for. And it was like, I have a house to clean, right? And then you say, well, thank God I have a safe place to live. Oh, I got crumbs underneath the table. Oh, well, thank God I'm able to have family meals, right? I got toilets to clean. Well, you know what? A lot of people in the world don't have indoor plumbing, right? It's the way you look at things, right? Kids are asking you endless questions. Guess what? You got kids, number one. And secondly, they're interested in learning, right? So change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change, right? That document on models, I just want to read you one that I just love the way it was written. It was written by, in my opinion, with a tiny bit of sarcasm. And it says, models limit my freedom, right? All these people that are speaking, they operate off of models, right? No, they don't. Models set you free because you can make better decisions more quickly and have a better life as a result, right? I mean, if that's not a mic drop, I'm not sure what is, right? Models are just opinions. All models are initially based on either opinion or fact. However, once implemented and shown to deliver a predictable outcome, a model is now proven and is no longer an opinion. Any model that isn't implemented enough to have a predictable outcome remains an opinion as to its deliverable outcome. That's like saying, well, FSBOs don't work. Well, FSBOs do work. It's just that you haven't done enough of them, and maybe your skill set on handling FSBOs isn't as great as it could be, right? However, if you're not interested in dealing with FSBOs and getting really strong at it, don't say it doesn't work. Just say you're not willing to commit to becoming a master at it. Does it make sense? The model won't work for me. Well, a model will work for you if you follow it because it has predictable results. The questions are these the results you want? Is this a model that you will follow? If you are saying it won't work for you, what you're actually saying is that you won't work for the model. I just love the way that's written. All right, sorry for the sidebar. Tell me about Mega Camp, guys. What else have you learned?
I'm sorry, just a minute, Bill. Could you repeat the name of the book? Profit what?
It's called Profit First.
Thank you.
Profit First. It's written by the guy has a unique last name. I'll post it in the I'll send it to you actually, but it's called Profit First. It's written by a guy named Michael something. Gary, I haven't confirmed this, but I believe Gary is in some type of licensing agreement with the guy because a lot of the content that he wrote about it has found its way into some of the KW curriculum.
Okay.
Really, really good book. Basically what it's saying is like, historically, we look at business the following way. We take in our revenue, right? Then we pay our expenses, and then whatever is left over, if there is anything left over, is our profit. The theory here is to flip that entirely. To say, I'm going to talk about, oh, thank you, Michael Awilski, Michalowicz. Thank you, Talantis, for that. It's to flip it entirely, to say, look, the purpose of business is to fund my life. In order to fund my life and the lifestyle I want to lead, which is, there's no judgment there. It could be very small or very big. It's totally up to you, right? But let's say my life, I want $200,000. Okay, great. So I need $200,000 of profit in order for this to be a smart investment of my time, for this to be the chief way I spend my time, right? So knowing that I need $200,000 in profit, I then need to determine what I should expect to be my expenses in this type of arena, in this type of space, in order to pull that off. And then I then find out, well, what are my revenues going to have to be in order to protect my profit, right? To make certain the profit is there. What should I expect? You know, do I have to hire anyone in order to achieve a profit level like that, right? What technology services or marketing services do I need to prepare myself to spend or to execute on in order to have that type of profit? And then you go in and say, well, I better make 600,000, right? Now I'm going to go create a plan for 600,000 rather than 200,000. Make sense? So it basically completely reverses it. Awesome book. It's a pretty quick read. I read it in like 2 days.
Okay.
Cool. What else?
I thought it was interesting. Steve was doing 4 hours of lead gen a day, 5 connects by phone, 5 connects in social media, and 5 personal texts or handwritten notes.
Yeah, I have that. I was just showing it to the group earlier today. I have like rewritten my profit share 135. I've rewritten my teams 135. I've rewritten the productivity coaches 135. I have edited my 1, 3, and 5 year goals. I mean, my brain is like exploding. Okay, and 555 is on mine. So I think that is such a great executable system that's not going to take that much time, that will show that you're paying attention, right? I loved how there was somebody that, I forget what session it was, that, you know, they really paid attention. Like, let's say their daughter just started at Georgia Tech, right? Or they just got a new cat or something, right? And then you can give them a pop by that's related to something that's going on in their life. You know, hey, I just got you a Georgia Tech, you know, coffee mug or something like that. I wanted to swing by and drop it off. Congratulations. Is she liking it? Is she in virtual class? What's she going to study? I mean, it's just, again, like so little of this content is about real estate. Do you guys find that unique? We're just running a business and talking to people. You want a big business, you got to talk to a lot of people. It's that simple,
Mhm.
right? Man, there's a document. Have you guys seen this document? This was a download on one of the first days. I think it was Tuesday. And this is my action item, right? And later today, there'll be a class by Jeff Woods, who's the vice president of The One Thing, and Jay Papazan, who you've seen plenty. He's the co-author of The One Thing and Millionaire Real Estate Investor and Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Gary's partner. And they're going to be leading a session on basically how to take all of the content and all of the ideas and strategies and tips and all that you've been learning and condense that into executable chunks, right? That allows you to focus on the one thing. I mean, it is very easy, like I suggested at the very beginning, oh, I'm going to be the best door knocker in town. Ooh, open houses, let's try that. Ooh, client events, let's try that. Ooh, pay-per-clicks, let's do that, right? And then you're like, you end up doing nothing if you do anything, right? And what you're going to have the most results for is choosing the activities that give you the most pleasure, right? If you don't like door knocking, don't do it, right? If you don't like expired listings or cold calls, look, you don't have to do it. Very few of the people on stage this time are doing cold prospecting. They're all going out into their marketplace and pouring into their community and the business owners in their community, right? And loving on them the way they want to be loved on. All right, let's make this more interactive. Who else wants to share some stuff they're learning?
Hey, Bill, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm sorry, I'm going through my neighborhood. I went to the invest in yourself.
Yes.
And I like that segment because it was teaching you different ways on how to invest, even with, if you purchase a home, you can do, seller financing, you can do, use your commission check to put down towards the down payment. So,
Yeah, I heard that idea. That was awesome.
yeah, and you all gave us that book with the invest when we were at the kickoff. So that was kind of the focus around everything. So I'm very interested to read the book and to get into, I know we talked about that, I wanted to get to some rental properties and some flips and everything to try to create extra revenue. So that was, it was a pretty good segment that I didn't think that that's what it was going to go to by the title. But I was glad that that's what it was.
Yeah, I think thank you for sharing that. And there's so many different ways to invest, right? You can invest for cash flow, you can invest for equity, you can do flips, you can do purchase and holds, right? That book really walks you through a variety of strategies and helps you kind of dissect what makes more sense for your short-term and long-term goals. Like, for example, I remember speaking to people many, many times, people that would say, oh, I want to buy an investment property, and they'll go buy a $400,000 investment property. I'm not saying that's a bad idea. I'm just saying I feel like there's a better way to do it, right? Because if you go buy a $400,000 place, you could probably rent it out for maybe $2,500, $2,600, right? If instead you bought two $200,000 places or $330,000 places, you could rent each one of those for $1,500. You see what I'm saying? So the question is you got to think through the math and the long-term strategy and the tax benefits and drawbacks. I mean, there's a lot to figure out. So the first thing that I mean, many of you guys know this, but sometimes we have to hear things over and over for it really to sink in, is if real estate investment is something that you've got kind of on the horizon, right? How do I want to say this without being rude? It's kind of like, well, prove it. How would I know that's something you care about, right? Is it because you're reading on it? Is it because you're going to an investment seminar? Is it because you're taking a successful investor to coffee and learning about how they've done it? Is it because you have time in your schedule every week or every month to go look at a part of town that you want to begin learning more about? Like, if you're claiming something is important to you, prove it. Does that
Well,
make sense?
I remember when my accountant told me one time, never assume things based on appearances or people's concepts of things. He's like, because he said, doing books, he's like, confidentially, I can't ever like say who people are. But he's like, one of my most successful clients owns trailer parks.
Oh yeah. And I would almost guarantee that he doesn't walk around with a matching suit with a handkerchief and slicked back hair.
Mm-mm.
They make a ton of money though.
Yep.
Right. But there's this is not a judgment on any of that, but you're also, if you rent out a $600 place a month, you're dealing with somebody who can't afford more than a $600 place a month. If you rent out a $2,000 place a month, you're probably dealing with a bit of a more stable person, right? So there's pros and cons in every direction, right?
Well, I don't know that it was that kind of trailer park. I think it was the drive up where people can park their RVs and have.
Yeah, it's I forget who said it, but they said when you find a good opportunity, if you don't have the money will show up, right? If Heather, you're out looking in the marketplace today and you come across just a phenomenal opportunity that you've dissected and the math works and you don't have the cash, then you can go find somebody who does have the cash and say, hey, let's team up, right? What part of this can I have access to? You see what I'm saying? I mean, Jenny Vereen we were talking about strategies for her to, instead of taking the full commission, to take a slightly smaller bit of the commission and maybe get equity in the whole plan, right? Or carve off an acre or two for her.
I missed that. It broke up a little bit.
So we were just, she's got this big 224 acre plot of land with a 10,000 square foot house in Locust Grove that she's marketing. Mm-hmm. And she's pretty much got a letter of commitment on it, but there's a lot of money at stake, right? And so they're talking about, are you going to pay a full commission, a part of a commission, trying to make everyone feel like a winner, right? And I said, why don't you, if they want to cut your commission, why don't you carve out a couple acres for you, right? Or form an LLC of this development company and give you 1% of it or something, right? If I don't get paid on the short term, I'll be happy to be paid on the long term, right? So everything is negotiable. You just got to get creative and have a big network. Who's learned something or who heard something that just like they haven't been able to get out of their head all day?
Yeah, it was one of the virtual lead generation sessions. I think it was like from 1 to 2, something like that. But there's a guy that's out in LA, Will Higgins. Okay. And he had sold this house and then posted to his social media a picture of the closing, and the caption read, "This could be us, but you're still renting." And he was saying he had such an amazing response from like single women on that. It was remarkable.
So
that's really
I saw that too.
Yeah, he said he did that because single women were his biggest following, so he was marketing to them.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Okay. I like that. I've seen, I don't think I've heard anyone say this week, but I've heard a lot of interactive stuff like this before where, have you ever seen the memes or the picture scrolls where it's like you had one job and it was like, the driveway didn't align with the garage, or like there was like a window that didn't that had a staircase coming out of it or something. It was just like weird, house pictures, and it's like caption this, or it's like a picture from that hasn't of a room that hasn't been touched in 50 years and it's still got, purple wallpaper and purple curtains, and it's just mirrors everywhere, and it's like caption this. Like, don't forget, like, this is supposed to be fun. Let's get some interactions, right? Who else wants to share? You guys are awful quiet today.
Yeah, it was amazing how the agent from the Florida have the time for everything, and how his day was going. He had like the 4 hour lead generation and doing the other stuff. So he was, like the conveyor. He had the time for everything, time for the lead generation, time to showing, time to, it was amazing.
Well, he probably had that because he has he's got help, right? He's got people that are helping him accomplish the 80% so he can focus on the 20%. And he or she has probably figured out very clearly what the distractions are and eliminated them from, from his experience, right? From the
He
day.
said that, yes.
Oh gosh, I forget exactly the thought I was thinking. Okay, who's next? Oh, I know what it was. Like, if we're all about results, right? If we want to help, 20 families purchase or sell a home this year, because that's impactful for us. If we're all about results, if we're used to calling 10 people to get those results a day, and now 10 people is not enough because of the market or people's motivation or interest rates or whatever it is, people nervous about COVID or the election or whatever, then you got to call more people, right? Sometimes we just have to put in a little bit more effort to get what we want, right? We used to talk about 2 hours of lead generation. Well, somebody would say, well, is 2 hours enough? I don't know. First of all, are you doing 2 hours, and are you getting the results you need in order to get everything else you want? And if the answer to that is no, well, 2 hours isn't enough. What are you going to do differently? Maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes will be enough. Maybe 4 hours is what you need. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. All right. So who's excited? Who's got a class they're really excited about today?
I don't even have anything on my agenda yet. I got 2 offers on a listing yesterday afternoon, and it's just been, so I didn't, I didn't even get on and pick out what classes I want to. My husband has and picked out his, but I haven't. So that's me.
All right. Well, we all have sessions that we want to go through that we just didn't get a chance to get through. So my suggestion is over the next couple of weeks, carve out a little time every day. Say, hey, I'm going to watch this 45-minute session today because this, I believe watching this is a smart investment in your time, right?
Absolutely.
Don't just leave this session or leave this convention that you forget all the wonderful motivation you had and all the things you learned, right? Take great notes, right? And use the concept of the one thing to take all these ideas that you've got and narrow it down to the thing that you're most interested in doing, that you feel the most passionate about, and that you have access to people that have done this successfully. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I will encourage all of you guys to watch the IALC. That's at 4:15 today, 4:15 to 5:15. It is pre-recorded, like a lot of the things in Mega Camp. But the IALC, there was 2 decisions that were made that were voted on. One was to have what's called a diversity, equity, and inclusion chair for each market center. It's going to be an ALC position. That was something that was, of course, brought up because of all the stuff going on in our world right now, and the change of our belief system to include equity opportunities for all. This is the first time, in my understanding, that there has ever been a unanimous vote in the IALC both of those topics were unanimously agreed upon. So if you want to see people speaking passionately about the organization they're a part of, and most importantly, that they have an opportunity to have influence on, you will, if you go to the IALC meeting, you will think differently about this company, I promise you. You will walk out of there and be like, man, I'm proud to be a part of that place. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Ebony, you've been so quiet today. What's on your mind?
Okay, so I have a couple thoughts from yesterday. One thing that I'm realizing that everybody is just like figured out is that one thing, because I've attended a lot of different breakouts and it all comes back to that one thing. And I'm like, okay, you know what? They got something going. One girl, I can't remember which one I was in, she said, everything that we give you is great, but choose what's great for you.
Ooh, I like that line. Yeah.
So I like that. And then another guy, I think his name was David, maybe not.
That's like the line. It says, if nothing works if you don't work, and everything works if you do work.
Exactly, but I like it. And then someone, it was so simple and it just kind of clicked with me. Forgive me, I have like notes wherever I was at. I was just like, oh, let me write down, because yesterday was one of those days. But he just said, lead with revenue. And I know we've been saying it a whole lot, but he put it into a different perspective and it kind of clicked. And he's just like, when I first started out in real estate, he was like, I was one of those people who just, I had a bunch of credit cards. I was using the credit cards and I was able to put, my fees on a credit card, to whereas it was kind of like that was his safety net, to whereas he didn't have to be as productive as he could. But he said, when I led with revenue, it helped so much because I stopped looking at it on the other end of it where, I have a credit card to put that on. It's more of, no, this is what it is that I need to make my business function. I don't know. It clicked for me. And
Another piggyback idea on that is the idea of having your personal accounts, your family accounts, and then your business accounts. So if you've got cash in the personal accounts, because let's say you have a spouse or something like that that's making money, it's an easy way to deny that your business is actually not working or profitable, right? And so your business should be funding your business expenses, right? So like next year when you're like, I want to go back to Mega Camp, I got to fly to Austin and buy a hotel room and pay for the ticket to get in and all that stuff. Like the question should not be, honey, can we afford this? The question should be, can my business afford this?
Mm-hmm. I agree. It does.
Where are the kids? I want to be with them.
What's that?
Where are the kids? At Bill's or Ebony's?
I think they're both.
I want to be with them.
I think it's Ebony.
I've been hiding out in my wife's studio, but she's got a couple things in it today, so she's setting up and I'm in the way. All right. Who wants to close us out? And now everyone's on mute. Diane, it looks like you're trying to say something, but you're on mute. Were you trying to say something? You're still on mute. Okay. All
I'll do
right.
it that way.
There you go. All right. Say everything again, please.
Versus the space bar. I was just going to say, you'd ask about what sessions people were going to take.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm going to do decide your habits, decide your future.
Yes.
And then I'll do another virtual strategies to lead gen.
Love that. Love that. I think that the decide your habits, decide your futures is the one that Jeff Woods is doing. Is that right?
I don't know.
I'm looking to see. Yes, that is going to be a really, really good one. So I believe that is scheduled at a time where nothing else is scheduled, right? Yeah.
2:45 to 3:30.
nothing else is scheduled during that time, that is when they're going to be breaking this document down.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll have to go back and search around some of the rooms for it, but I'll post this on the board later today. Decide your habits, decide your futures. So that is, or your future, that is going to be taught by Jeff Woods, who is the vice president of the One Thing, and of course Jay Papazan, who co-authored the book with Gary. If you guys don't already know, there is a One Thing podcast that is phenomenal. I'll go ahead and put a plug in there for my favorite episode, which is episode number 50 of the One Thing podcast. It's free. Episode 50 is with Gene Rivers. Now, if you guys are not convinced, based on all the fantastic presenters and educators in Keller Williams, and I've seen just about all of them and gone to pretty much all the classes many times, Gene Rivers is probably my favorite instructor teaching my favorite topic on October 16th. It's an all-day event from 9 to 4 on October the 16th. Gene Rivers is going to be teaching career visioning, which is the proprietary system for growth and hiring for Keller Williams. Even if you're not in growth mode or you're a brand new agent, I'm going to be very kind in how I say this. You absolutely must be in that room. Okay. Normally this is a class that is several $100s. It's going to be completely free for us. Okay. So, Gene was a guest on the One Thing podcast. I got off subject a little bit there, but please be there October 16th. I've mentioned it in the last couple of Sunday emails as well. Please be a part. Diane, thanks for bringing that up, for decide your futures, decide your habits, decide your future. The line that he'll quote is, they say people don't decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures.
Interesting.
Make sense?
It does.
All right, we will end on that. Guys, don't forget, we have the Zoom for Roswell from 10:15 to 10:30. I really am grateful for all of you sharing your ideas in our PC group and with the larger Mega Camp group at the office. I'm just super excited that you guys have invested your time and energy to be a part of this, and I'm so grateful that you guys are learning what you need to learn to take your business to the next level. So congratulations. Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. Have a wonderful day, everybody. The YouTube channel is updated, so everything is completely up to date. So don't hesitate to follow that. And yeah, did you have a question, Markia?
No, I just said thank you.
Oh, all right. Y'all
Thank
have a great day.
you. Bye, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.